So where do you see ethics playing a role?
So when your ethics are in the right place, it is progress for all. If you play the game within the boundaries that have been laid down, right, I think the path to success is definitely there. It just takes a little longer. I think everybody loves the word jugaad and shortcuts, right? And I'm completely against that word, right? Because jugaad encourages taking shortcuts.
How do you see this playing out in the world of AI?
Immense, right? Everybody wants to be independent when you're running a business, right? If you ask any founder today, I want to do it my way, your way, but do it ethically.
I'm very interested in what you're saying about the kind of independence that being ethically right can bring in. My concern also steps, what if you lose control? Namaste, Nimesh.
Namaste, Sarita ji.
Welcome to this podcast and getting to know you. How have you been?
All good. You tell me, how's life? We are in Bombay rain, so yes, enjoying the.
That is true. I'm just very excited at having you as the guest today. You know, when I look back at the kind of career trajectory you have had and to where you are now today, actually setting up a venture capital fund for startups, the first thing that comes to my mind in all of this journey of yours, where do you see ethics playing a role?
Firstly, thank you so much for your kind words. I think I'm still learning, so the journey continues. So on ethics, see, I'll just go back a little to when we were children, right? I think when we were children, I think in school we had a subject called moral science, right? And it was part of 100 marks were for three subjects: history, geography, and moral science. And moral science was only 16 marks. I just wish that was 100 today, right? Because your morality determines your ethics in life and how you behave and what you do, right? What you learn as a child is what you carry on forever, right? And today, I think most of the times, I'm just generally speaking, and then I'll come to our ecosystem, is that most of the times we see unhygienic stuff around us. We are always complaining about population in India, right? But there are countries with higher density, with higher population, which are doing very well, right? The primary reason being the morals are in the right place, right? So when your ethics are in the right place, it is progress for all, right? And that is what I was trying to bring the point to, that today, if if you play the game within the boundaries that have been laid down, right? I think the path to success is definitely there. It just takes a little longer, right? I think everybody loves the word jugaad and shortcuts, right? And I'm completely against that word, right? Because jugaad encourages taking shortcuts. It encourages unethical behavior as well. So I think that is where somewhere you have to draw a line. Uh, yes, ethical businesses will take longer. It will be a difficult path, but I think you will sleep well at night. So that's why I believe ethics is very important in every walk of life that you see today.
But how do you see this playing out in the world of AI, Nimesh?
Again, that also becomes very important because AI is going to determine the society, right? I think it's going to be a very impactful development for the society. Now, if I were to look at it a little differently, see, there are two parts to AI, right? What is the benefit you get from AI, which is going to be immense, right? As in when we have seen human civilization develop, right? They've gone the next level of leap. They've taken a leap, right? Right from being an agricultural economy to getting industrialization. From industrialization, then we have the dot-com and the internet era, right? And now is the AI era. So as we go up in life, right, you get a lot of benefits, right? But with a lot of benefits comes a lot of risk, right? And a lot of challenges that come along with it, right? And those are the ones that need to be controlled, right? And that is where I strongly believe that AI plays a very important role when you talk about impact on society, right? And I think some of the examples we can use here is AI ultimately is an aggregate of learning from various sources, right? If that sources involve a lot of biases, right, it's concentrated towards one geography, right? Bring in a lot of biases, the outcome will have those biases. Now, when there are ethical rules laid down, right, that helps to have a fair outcome. So biases can be controlled if you have ethical rules to play. Then we talk a lot about, say, the word independence. Right? Now, independence is something Everybody wants to be independent when you're running a business, right? If you ask any founder today, I want to do it my way, right? Yes, do it your way, but do it ethically. Because as we spoke about Jugaad, there are many other ways in which we have seen a lot of things come out. I think ethics, if the ethics are in place, the founder is also on the right path. And that comes to AI, right? So that brings in that when people are, it's a very independently run engine, right? I think that's why it's very important to have ethical rules built into it because that engine doesn't know what is right or wrong.
Yeah, I'm very interested in what you're saying about the kind of independence that being ethically right can bring in. But my concern also steps, what if you lose control? What if you get, it can be very overwhelming. Sometimes when I look at all the kind of AI thing happening, I just get lost in the maze of information. So what if you sort of steer away from that path of ethics? What do you think can go wrong?
Simplest thing, there will be no privacy, no security.
That's frightening.
So that is frightening. And that's why you need ethics in AI, right? I think that you have to draw a line. You have to draw a boundary within which the game can be played.
Hmm.
Any game that you play has rules. The
Hmm.
moment there are no rules, there is chaos. So AI is also a similar animal, right? You have to have rules for it. You play the game within the rules, everybody will win. If there are no rules, there are no ethics, it's going to be chaos.
I would love to hear an example from you as to when you say that the rules have to be there. What kind of rules are we talking? Anything that comes to your mind?
So I think usage of personal information. It can be even your name and your age and your date of birth and stuff because these can be misused for anything, right? I think with using AI, you can create security cards for anybody anywhere in the world, right? I think we have seen a lot of examples of morphing, deep fakes, phishing, sparing, and all of those, right? I think the frauds will only increase. The kind of fraud that are happening today, thanks to AI, are at a different level, right? Than the fraud. So see, frauds always used to happen. Frauds have been happening forever. But the degree changes and the methodology changes. So if you don't have rules, how will you know this is wrong or right?
Mm.
Because AI engine doesn't know what is wrong or right. It
Mm.
just gives an aggregate output.
When you talk about frauds that already been happening, I'm just remembering, as an educated person, I would feel I'm away from frauds. But today with this deep fake, even I'm there caught up in that phone calls coming, your package is waiting to be delivered
Oh,
and stuff like that, and it's happening. It's very frightening. So with so many things happening and ethics being center to the good development of AI, what's the vision for fear that you have?
so I think for me, it is very clear we have to create an ethical environment which is very transparent and based on trust because transparency encourages the user to also know what is going on, right? Because if it's a black box, how will a person trust you? So trust and transparency is of utmost importance for me if I were to think. I think we have to think about the long-term implication of what ethics means for fiat, right? I think short term, of course, you can put a lot of bells and whistles, right? But I think we have to keep the long-term goal in mind as we design, the ethical basis for which we are building FIA. I think that will be very important. And I think it's not only going to be an Indian phenomenon. I think we have to keep the entire global landscape in mind. We have to have global consideration in what we are building because what you're building is now for world. AI is for world. AI is not for a single geography or it's not for India only. So I think some of these things will help. I think my areas of utmost concern will be privacy. Privacy is very important. Security is very important. And I think it should be beneficial to the society at large.
Hmm. So privacy, security, and beneficial to the society in large. Now, I want to go back to the moral compass that you alluded to right in the beginning and the moral science. It's very interesting because I remember now my moral science lessons, and you're right, it was given so less weightage. But I think the setting of values at a young age is what shapes your character and your
Yeah.
attitude in life. But what if those values are not set right? How bad can things go?
So it can go to extremes. You have seen the kind of frauds that are happening, right? I think it ultimately comes out into the frauds that you see. I think that is something which is quantifiable and visible, right? The culture and all is not what you're going to see, right? So quantifiable, I think you are seeing the frauds which were earlier happening in thousands of dollars today are happening. The last one was $230 million, right? So I think the scale goes to a different level. There is no limitation to it, right? Because when the intention is, see, there is an intent, right? Your intent is either to do right. When you do right, you're creating unicorns, you're doing the right way. When you do wrong, you'll create unicorns the wrong way. That is easy money that comes and goes, right? So I think it can go to any extreme. And apart from a quantifiable things, I think it has a lot of implications on, uh, say, when you see deep fakes, and it has a lot of personal implications. When your security and your personal information is at risk, you just imagine what it can do to you mentally as well. Right?
Mm.
So it's not only about money, it goes beyond money.
Gen Z is the one which is very much into AI, right? And I mean, they get up and they end their day with just AI everywhere. What's that one or two things that you would tell them about ethics and how should they be careful about using AI?
No, I think that is a challenge that we face every day, right? Including with my son, right? On where to draw a line. I think it again boils down to what we as parents or as seniors or as mentors would pass on to the next gen is that uh, look at what is right, right? Look at what you have learned in life and base it on that, right? And don't get carried away on small dopamine highs, which you get for short term by doing certain things, which you see on social media all over the place. And we have seen a few deaths also happen in the last few weeks, right? I think that dopamine for a short term is something that you should look at avoiding. I think get gratification the right way, right? You have to put in efforts, which is a very difficult task for us to tell the young Gen Z. But I think efforts will give you the right rewards rather than taking shortcuts and getting the rewards, because that won't last long.
Yeah. What I mean, I'm hearing a lot, many things over here, you know, the need to have a moral compass, the need to make efforts, be careful about, and be on that path of ethics, which will give you the independence to grow and to do things that you want. Thank you so much, Nimesh, for your
Thank you,
time
Sarita.
and lovely listening to your views. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.